Hey guys, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 in the house, bringing to you another edition of the Supergirl Season 5 review series, and today I'm going to be talking about Episode 5 called Dangerous Liaisons. Now, the last time we saw Kara, she was trying to dig up some dirt on her colleague, William Day, and it turns out that William Day isn't the slimeball reporter that we're all led to believe. As a matter of fact, William Day is very much one of the good guys, and he is undercover trying to dig up some dirt on the new Catco boss, Andrea Rojos, as well as the rest of her family. Now, William suspects that Andrea and perhaps her Obsidian North Company are up to no good, but on a more global scale. So, in this episode, we get to see what exactly they have found out about Andrea and what her true affiliation is, and it's something that William, neither Kara are expecting. So with that all said, let's talk about episode 5, Dangerous Liaisons. So we kick off this episode when we see Andrea Rojos is preparing to launch her Obsidian North's Collective Dream VR lenses. Now, these VR lenses allow people to create their own virtual reality simulation world, very similar to what Lena Luthor did back at the beginning of Season 5 in Episode 1. So she's preparing to launch this worldwide on a much more global scale. So after a quick meeting with everyone at Catco, she dismisses everyone, and Nia tells Kara how disappointed she is that she was unable to find the connection between Andrea and William, little knowing that Kara has already met with William and knows the real truth about his identity and what he's been up to. Kara then texts William to meet her across the street at a coffee bar, where she convinces him to let her help, while also adding that if he agrees to let her help, he will have full access to the government base where her sister works at, which is the DEO. William reluctantly agrees, and they are both allowed temporary passes on the DEO premises. Alex allows them in for her interrogation of Breathtaker, but William quickly loses his cool and Alex kicks him out. Outside, William confesses that he has lost friends to this cause. After a facility in New Mexico is broken into, Supergirl is called to the DEO, where she has a quick briefing with Alex and Brainiac 5. Brainiac 5 allows himself to be taken over by the Orificician alien. They agree on a start and end phrase, but during the interrogation, Supergirl becomes upset at how little this alien cares for human life. Now, this is where we see Brainiac 5 not necessarily turn evil, but because he's possessed by this alien, he behaves very, very out of character and has more of a sarcastic sense of humour. So this is kind of like, for me, a little preview of what if Brainiac 5 becomes a villain, kind of similar to what we saw towards the end of Season 4. So this was a really cool scene to see, and it was really enjoyable to see Brainiac 5 acting very wacky, but at the same time more on the very sinister and evil side of things. So this was a lot of fun to see. Alex reminds Kara that was not Brainiac 5. Kara takes it upon herself to break into her boss's office to look for clues, but is almost immediately stopped when William arrives to do the exact same thing. So what we're kind of seeing here is even though both Kara and William are reporters and they both want to get the job done, they have very different methods on how they get their results. So to see these two actually officially work together side by side and on the same page was a really interesting treat, especially when these two got off to a very difficult and awkward start. So I'm hoping that over the course of this season we're going to see these two work together more and more, and who knows, maybe William might actually learn that Kara is Supergirl, and we'll see William work with these guys full time, but we'll just have to wait and see really. But so far I'm liking where this is going. So we see William and Kara working together, and William is unable to crack his boss's computer. But however, Kara is able to find a secret hidden box, and inside this box is a photograph of Andrea and a man named Russell Rogers, along with some jewellery and some other objects. We also get more of an insight into William's character when he admits the real reason he's been obsessed with uncovering the truth about the Rojas family is because 2 years ago his best friend was dating Andrea, and the day before they met his house was broken into and we never saw Russell Rogers again. Kara tries to console him but is quickly called away by Alex to New Mexico. After a very brief physical confrontation with Rip Raw, he stops her with a fusion cannon. Supergirl radios John Jones for help and he flies her back to the DEO to be put under yellow sun solar lamps so she is fully charged. Now this fusion cannon looks like it has the ability to drain Supergirl's powers. Not necessarily drain her powerless, but is able to slow her down. So it's quite cool that we see these different things that can slow Kara down. Now, I've always said that I've never really liked the idea of Superman, or even to a lesser degree Supergirl's powers get watered down, but I suppose they have to do these things in order to push the show along, because if you was to have Superman or Supergirl all powerful, show's going to be over in 5 minutes. So it is interesting that they come up with different ideas and different concepts to slow Supergirl down, and we got to see that again, so it was very interesting that they do things like that, in my honest opinion. Meanwhile, Lena and Hope are working to try and convince Malefic to work with them. Once he awakens, they give him 3 obstacles to overcome, while trying to manipulate his brainwaves in order to turn vicious creatures into harmless people. So after much persuasion, Malefic agrees to help under the condition that Lena agrees to help him take out his brother Jean. At the end of the day, Malefic has completed his tasks and is able to turn the Maladorian Denrasp completely harmless. However, when Lena decides she will not kill anyone for him, he threatens to become violent. However, she uses his Q-waves against him and tells Malefic that he rather enjoys his place here with her, and he becomes once again Disal. So it looks like to me that Lena has got the ability to incept and control people at will. That's how she is able to control Malefic. So it's going to be very interesting to see how her ability grows over the course of this season. Meanwhile, Supergirl is feeling 100% once again and is determined to stop whatever is coming their way. Unfortunately, they are greeted with more bad news as Brainiac 5 explains the geyser is pumping out 3 cubic miles of water every second. At that rate, every coastal city in the world will start flooding in 12 minutes. The loss of life could be billions, according to Brainiac 5. So Supergirl and John Jones go to the Antarctica, where they fight Rip Raw and are finally able to beat him. Also, they are able to seal the geyser. Now, the way Supergirl and John Jones work together to stop the floods was very similar to how Superman and Supergirl would put out disasters back in Superman the Animated Series and in the comic books. So it's kind of cool we got to see that happen in this show. So after Supergirl is successfully able to freeze the geyser with her ice breath, she goes to find William at his apartment in her Kara Danvers' identity to break the news that Rip Raw is actually his missing friend Russell Rogers, and it appears that Andrea's family is completely innocent, as it turns out that the people behind all of these attacks is none other than the Leviathan. So the last shot we see at the end of this episode is after the successful launch of her Collective Dream VR Lenses event, Andrea gets into her limo only to be greeted by the old lady that we saw at the end of season 4 with Eve Tefsmarker. She is also part of Leviathan, and she says that Rip Raw is going to be a problem and we need to fix it, and that's how that episode ends. So I have to say, overall, really enjoyed this episode a lot. Lots of cool Supergirl action, and we're seeing more and more of Lena Luthor slowly going into madness, even though she claims she's not. And this was a really good episode. I really enjoyed it a lot, and we got to see more about William's background and why he wants to take down Andrea's family so much. So it was really good. I enjoyed this episode a lot. So with that all said, I'm going to leave this here for you guys. What did you think of episode 5? Did you enjoy it? Was there anything you liked? Was there anything you didn't like? You know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will see you all next time. So till then, take care everybody. And I will be back to review episode 6, so stay tuned for that one.